It's great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you hear a little rumbly sound in the background, we're having a great thunderstorm, and I love thunderstorms. So if you don't hear them, I'm sorry you're missing it. This is episode 123, Intending to Laugh. A lot of people go through life and they're not very intentional. Things just sort of happen and they kind of float along like a leaf in the river, gets thrown around, and sometimes it gets buried and sometimes it gets crumpled up, and they're not very intentional. So they end up being grumpy because that's who they are. Trust me, I can be pretty grumpy, so I can relate to that, especially when things don't go just the way I planned or just the way I wanted to. I have to intentionally laugh sometimes. So my question for you today is, do I intend to laugh? I know that might be a funny question, but honest and really, that's a very important question. Do I intend to laugh? Because if you don't, you may end up crying, or you may end up being angry and being upset about spilled milk, and you may end up being a lot of things. You have to intentionally plan to find something in the day to laugh about. Let's talk about this. I really love it when I go outside in the morning, or even when I wake up, and I usually always have my window cracked as I sleep, and I hear the birds. When I was in Michigan for my grandson's graduation, I got to hear the robins sing. In the South, we don't have robins most of the year. They land for a couple weeks during their migration pattern, but the rest of the time we don't have them. But in Michigan, they have them a lot, except in the winter. So it was wonderful hearing the sound of the robins. And I would literally just kind of chuckle really gently to myself about the sheer beauty of hearing the robins in the morning. I woke up intending to laugh. Do you know that when you laugh, it releases amazing chemicals inside of your body that are very good for your health? There was a gentleman one time that was diagnosed with a fatal cancer. There's no question that he was going to die, and he was a doc. He knew there was absolutely no hope for him medically. Nothing, no surgery, no treatment. I mean, nothing was going to save his life. But he was familiar with the idea, at least, where it says in the Proverbs that a merry heart does good like medicine. And he decided he was going to laugh his way to health. He started watching the craziest stuff he could get. He was a Three Stooges fan, so he'd watch Three Stooges old episodes. He watched everything in the world, and he laughed and laughed and laughed. And what do you know? He was cured of his cancer. And he talked about how laughter is good medicine. And he proved it. Absolutely, matter-of-factly. He said that if someone with cancer or a really serious disease could just get themselves laughing 8 or 10 hours a day, it could change their health. And I want to assure you that if you intend to laugh throughout your day, it will change your health. It will change your mental health, and it will even affect the chemistry of your physical body. Exercise makes us create serotonin, and certain receptors in the nervous system picks it up, and we get this euphoria, hence runner's high. And also when we're doing good things and we have good fellowship with people and we're working on a team and we have great camaraderie, it releases endorphins in us that cause us to have a sense of well-being, and the entire body responds to that. All the muscles relax. Your nerve endings, all that tension lets go. Your blood pressure goes down. Your heart rate goes down. Even your mind itself becomes clearer and calmer. You can do that for yourself every day if you intend to laugh. So look for crazy stuff. My friend and I were talking today. We're on our way to the doctor about a post-operative appointment for my broken arm. And we just started laughing our heads off about something that probably happened 40 years ago. I mean, we laughed for a good 5 minutes. Man alive, it felt awesome. If you've ever really, really laughed about something, you know what I'm talking about. In life, sometimes comedians talk about the most absurd stuff that's all completely real. And that's why we laugh our guts out so hard, because we can relate and we know it's absolutely the truth, and it's hilarious because as long as it's someone else's life but something we can relate to, we get the humor in that. It is so funny. And so each day, intend to laugh. I don't care if that means you watch 5 minutes of insane videos on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Instagram. I don't care if that means you read the joke of the day. One of my sons, he loves puns. He would go to the library, well, all of us did every week, but he would get out the craziest books with nutty puns and jokes. And then he would read them and learn them by heart and tell them to us and crack us up. But he would do it at the most inopportune times. He would do it while I'd be eating cereal, right? And he'd crack me up, and this milk and all the cereal would come spewing out of my nose and mouth. I'd be like, son. And of course, we're laughing harder because of the absurdity of milk and cereal spewed everywhere. He would tell it to me when I was in the kitchen. And a long time ago, I had a little bit of a bladder problem if I laughed too hard. And it was always his goal to see if he could get me to wet my pants or make me run to the bathroom like 90 to avoid that. That was even funnier to them than anything else. So we intended to laugh every day. We found ways to laugh and things to laugh at. My one son really likes to watch crazy cat videos, and it definitely makes him laugh. If you intend to laugh, it lightens up your emotional load. As a parent, all of us know and understand it is a great deal of work, a lot of sacrifice, and sometimes just plain old inconvenient to be a parent. We have so much that we have to do in order to take care of our children. And it's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight and responsibility. It's great to have a couple minutes in the day just to laugh your head off and let some of that go. So if you don't intend to laugh, chances are good you won't, especially if you were very overburdened by all the implications of parenthood and the responsibilities and the necessities and the demands on your time and the demands on your emotional energy, not to mention the physical demands that it takes to spend, 12 or 14 hours a day looking after a family. And heaven knows if you have to go to work on top of every other thing to earn a living, you have so much to carry. So every day, intend to laugh. When your kids are doing crazy stuff, if possible, instead of saying, you're embarrassing me, you're acting like a fool, you know better, instead of doing that, just give them a minute, really look at them, and laugh with them. I mean, kids are goofy. They love to do goofy stuff. I'm going to tell you this one. I cannot believe I'm telling you this one, but I have permission. When my kids were young, they had to help fold the clothes. So they start off with towels when they were really little. But by the time they're 8, 9, 10, they're actually folding clothes, right? So they love to do these crazy things. They would take underwear, theirs, mine, and they would put them on their heads, and they would try to make like the most creative hat in the world. And let me tell you, it was insanely goofy, like really crazy stuff. Well, then of course, since I'm a mom and this is fun to boys, they would take bras and wrap the straps across their ears and do the wildest stuff with my bras. Use them as an aviator mask like they're in a plane. I'm just telling you, those guys were pretty insane, very imaginative. And I laughed with them the whole time. I didn't yell and scream at them, those are my clothes, what are you doing? And that's not what you're supposed to. I never played that on them. I just sat there and laughed my guts out with them. We had some of the craziest moments folding clothes you could ever imagine. If you have a really cute pair of gym shorts that have stripes down the sides of them, and you put them on your head as a hat, and you tuck it behind your ears, and you go outdoors and ride your bike, you should see how awesome that is. When you're riding down the road, it's like Jabba the Hutt's, it's like Jar Jar Binks' ears. They just blow out really far behind you on the bicycle. That's what I mean about have fun. Come on, be real. Life is crazy intense. Have fun when you can. Intend to laugh through it. All right, so you know that we went to the park and we rode bikes and we did all kinds of things together outside as kids. And when my kids were little and I was a parent, but as kids, because I could be a kid with them sometimes. And so we would do crazy things like put food coloring into the snow and have colored snowball fights. We would do really wild and crazy things like take a piece of cardboard and iron a piece of waxed paper onto the back of it so it was pretty slippery, and go down the hill on a piece of cardboard in the snow. And it actually works pretty great in the grass. So if you're somewhere and it's kind of slippery in the morning with dew, and you end up in all kinds of crazy situations, you roll down the hill and nutty things happen, and you can laugh. I kid you not. You do things like go look for bugs or wild stuff out into the yard, and it really will bring a smile to your face or make you chuckle. The antics of wild animals, and especially little ones, is so much fun. So even this trip when I was up in Michigan, my son was talking about how much he loves to watch the squirrels play together. I said, yeah, me too. And sometimes they're just chasing each other around the tree or up and down the tree. It's enough to make you chuckle. You have to intend to laugh. You have to take a couple of moments or a little bit of time, find something that's fun that you can laugh about. I'm really serious about this. So another thing I would do, I had a squirt bottle that I would squirt the cat so the cat would stay off the counter or certain pieces of furniture the cat did not really belong on. And just not too often, maybe a couple times a year because it couldn't lose its shock value. I'd be sitting there and one of the kids would be playing a game or doing their homework or something, and all of a sudden I'd be like, shh, and squirt them. They're like, Mom, what was that? Just have some fun and laugh. If you're always a serious person, if you have a weight of responsibility and you have a hard time just finding a few minutes to laugh, I really want to tell you that intending to laugh will change your life, even change your health, and help your kids to see you as a parent who knows how to be a little bit goofy sometimes and knows how to have fun. That includes crazy things like my son's taking me to the ice cream parlor. Well, I drove, but you know what I mean, because they had a couple dollars that they had earned. And they said, Mom, you have to eat the stuff we buy you. And I said, okay. So they got me black licorice ice cream, which I hate licorice, and Superman ice cream, which is every kind of leftover little bit of ice cream in the store, and they'd all put it together in one thing, and it was really, I call junked up. Both of my kids actually like that weird stuff. And that's what they got me, licorice and Superman ice cream, and I had to eat it. And all the time through, I was like, oh, what are you thinking when you eat this stuff? Like, ugh. And they're laughing their heads off. And laughter is very contagious. So pretty soon I was laughing pretty hard too, even as yucky and disgusting as that stuff was. That was such a memorable time, and we all remember it with great fondness. I told you I was at my youngest grandson's graduation. We were doing some reminiscing, and you heard a little bit about that yesterday. But we were doing some reminiscing, and my grandson said to me, do you know what, Granny? I remember you were always fun. So, as serious as I could be, as strict as I could be, as much as I kept things in order, we did always have fun. And that is one of the things my grandson remembers about me with great fondness, that I was always fun. I want you to intend to laugh today and every day so that your life and your time with your children, your time in your family, is very healthy and has moments that are just plain fun. It's been great having you with me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to share it with a friend. And if you have questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you so much. It's great having you with me. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.